So hello friends, welcome back to my channel Medicine 101. Today we will talk about free radical injury. Okay, so before starting the topic, let's know a little bit about the introductions part. So what is free radical? Free radical means basic things from our school knowledge. We know what that whenever we see any molecules or any element that contains the unpaired electron, that is known as what free radical molecules. Okay, and we know the free radical, molecules or elements, whatever you can see over here, they are highly reactive. They are highly reactive. In the same way, in our body, you can also see the formation of free radical molecules. Okay, how these things are, I'll just talk about all these things in the video. So please watch the video full. Okay. Now let's write it over here. So what is free radical? That means the molecules or the elements contain unpaired electron in this structure. Okay. And the second thing, they are highly reactive molecules. The free radicals are highly reactive molecules. Okay. Now we need to know in which circumstances we will see there is a chances for the formation of free radicals. Okay, in our body. So the situations which can develop the formation of free radical. We have to know about these things. The chances for the free radical, there is a chances for formation of the free radicals in the, the radiation exposures, in the infectious conditions. Okay, in these cases we will see that what there is chances for the formation of free radical. Okay, in terms of the heavy metals injury. Okay, I'll write all of them over here. Okay, that the situations where there is a chances for the development of free radical. Okay, so I'll write it over here. The situation that develop formation of free radical injury. I'm writing free radical injuries. In which circumstances we will see. First of all, we will get in terms of the any type of the radiation exposure. So the first thing, if we can any type of the radiation exposure. If we see the heavy metal injury, for example, if we just say in terms of the heavy metal, here I would like to talk about the the copper and iron. Now see, the copper and iron, they are the transitional metals. Okay, so in our body they can be exist in the dual form, like in terms of the ferric and ferrous, in terms of the iron, in terms of the copper it can be exist in terms of the cupric and cuprous, just like this. So I'll talk about over here that what the heavy metal injury. Heavy metal injury. In these cases I already talked about over here. We can get the transitional element just like this, iron or copper, and we can get in the body the dual form because there is existence in the dual form. I mean in terms of ferrous or ferric, or you can get in terms of the from the copper, you can get into the cuprous or cupric, just like this. Okay, so we got our radiation exposures, and the third important one is the reperfusion injury. Reperfusion injury. In these cases also this is for the formation of what? Free radical injury. Reperfusion injury means, for example, on there is portions, for example, this portion is for a long period, that is what ischemia. So we are seeing the development of ischemia in these regions for a long time. And after a long time, if we see again the blood is going in these regions, the perfusions we can see over here of the blood, then these types of the conditions is known as the what? Perfusion injury. Okay, so you can write it over here. Returns of blood in a ischemic region after long period. So this is all about what? The reperfusion injury. That means again the blood is again reperfused over here. Okay. So radiation exposures, heavy metal injury, the reperfusion injury. Okay. And what else you can get it over here, that infectious agents. I mean in terms of the infections, for example There is some infectious agents. Infections. For example, there is some infectious agent that is in our body and that is causing the damage in the in our host cells. As a result, we will see there is chances for the development of what or formation of the theoretical injury, just to remove the cause of infectious agents over here. Okay, just to remove the cause of infections. Okay, that's the thing. Now we'll talk. Now we have to know how the theoretical injury. That means the pathophysiology or the mechanisms. Okay, so the procedures for the formations of theoretical injury. Now if I enter over here, now see the procedure formation of free radical injury. Okay. Now see, under normal circumstances there is a presence of oxygen in our body, no doubt about it. So there will be a presence of oxygen, for example, just like this. And normal circumstances, what oxygen is harmless over here. So you can write it over here as the harmless. And whenever we will see there is a chances for the formations for these regions, whatever, so in the terms of the 4 regions over here, okay, there is chances for the formation of the theoretical injury. So if we see any of them over here, then there is a chances for the oxygen to get converted over here in terms of 2 minus, just like this. This is the superoxide anion. This is the superoxide anion, okay? Superoxide anion. Now, this superoxide anion that will get converted into what? Hydrogen peroxide. That will get converted into hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Now, the hydrogen peroxide ultimately it will get converted into the hydroxyl radical, hydroxyl free radical. So, what we are getting over here, the hydroxyl free radical. That means we are getting over here hydroxyl free radical. Now these things can cause damage in the different aspects. Okay, it can cause the damage in terms of the DNA, in the protein, in the lipids. Okay, so that will cause the damage on is the most dangerous one. The most dangerous one. Okay, in the free radicals. Now damage on where we'll get in terms of the DNA, we'll get in terms of what protein, we'll get in terms of lipid. Okay, and whenever we will see the lipid there will be what damage on the lipid, this lipid will go automatically under the what lipid peroxidation. Whenever we will see destruction of lipid, in these cases we will see whatever the problem, we will see the lipid peroxidation. Lipid peroxidation. Okay, lipid peroxidation. And whatever the problem we will see, this lipid peroxidation can form new what free radicals. Okay, so we will see the more free radicals will form over here. The conditions will be more, the conditions will get worse over here, because whenever the lipid peroxidations will be over here, they will produce the more amount of the free radicals. So more free radicals. More free radicals. At the end of the day, we will see what this process is known as autocatalysis. Okay, and this thing is known as what? Autocatalysis. Autocatalysis. At the end of the day, we will see what over here we will get the cell death. We'll get over here the cell death. Okay, that's the cell death. Now, just to prevent the the critical injury in our body, our body to just try to use some antioxidant molecules just to prevent these things. And whatever the antioxidant molecules our body uses, let's know about them. Our body will try to defend over here. Now we will see, let's write it over here. To prevent what? The free radical injury by hydroxyl over here, when we talked about these things, our body will use some certain antioxidant molecules. Antioxidants. And among the antioxidants, was firstly we will see certain types of the vitamins. What type of the vitamins are antioxidant? Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, just like this. In the next phase, it will use some plasma proteins. See why it will use the plasma proteins. I'll say over here. Within the plasma protein, there are certain types of the protein. Just think about the transferrin. Whenever the body will use the transferrin, okay, the transferrin that will take the what ferric and ferrous this like this components. Okay, in terms of the iron, because see in these reactions, okay, whenever we will talk about in terms of from the what H2O2 to this hydroxyl ion, there is a conversion of one type of the there is a conversion for the iron just like this. This Fe2 plus over here, that will get convert Fe3 plus. That means, try to understand, that means the conversions of the Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus that helps to convert the H2O2 to hydroxyl, radical. That is the most dangerous one. Now, whenever we will just use the transferrin, this transferrin molecules, they will take the, all types of the, Fe2 plus or Fe3 plus, whatever we can say over here, that will take over within them. As a result, there is no chances for formations of the hydroxyl what? For radical. So, okay. And in the next phase, you can say over here another type of the protein that is known as what? Celluloplasmin. I already talked about over here that the Cu2 plus or Cu3 plus, that means in terms of the cupric or cupras, okay, they can cause also what? The free radical injuries. Now, whenever there will be productions of the plasma protein just like the celluloplasmin is the storage for the copper over here, okay. So, celluloplasmin, then there will be no chances for this formation. Now, in the third step, we can use certain types of the enzymes. We can use some enzymes. Okay. See, now in the comparison in between the superoxide anion and the hydrogen peroxide, the less dangerous one. That means what? The hydrogen peroxide is not that much harmful with respect to the superoxide anion. Now, if you convert the superoxide anion into hydrogen peroxide, we can use one type of the enzyme that is known as superoxide dismutase. Now, if you use over here the superoxide dismutase, then there will be conversions from the superoxide anion to hydrogen peroxide, okay, and it is the less harmful than with respect to the superoxide anion. Now, let's see over here once. We are getting what? For example, O2 to superoxide anion we are getting, then we are getting H2O2 hydrogen peroxide, then we are getting what? At the last we are getting the hydroxyl free radical. Now there are certain types of the enzymes. That can convert the hydrogen peroxide directly into water molecules. There will be no harmful things over here. So the hydrogen peroxide that can be converted into the water molecules over here by using certain types of the enzymes. One of the enzymes is over here that is known as what? The catalase. So catalase that can convert the hydrogen peroxide over here into the water molecules. So we can use over there the catalase, antioxidant over there. Okay. Now let me write one more thing over here. Yes. So the another type of the enzyme that can convert the hydrogen peroxide into the water molecule, that is known as glutathione peroxidase. So glutathione peroxidase, that will convert the H2O2 into the water molecules. There will be no harmful effect over here. Okay, there will be no harmful effect over here. And see, I already said it over here that whenever the conversions of H2O2 to hydroxyl free radical in these cases, whenever we will see the conversions of the Fe2 plus into Fe3 plus, and there is this type of the reaction is known as Fenton's reactions. So what is known as? This is known as Fenton's reactions. Okay. This is known as Fenton's reaction. Okay. So Fenton's reactions, where we will see there is with the conversions of the Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. But if we use certain types of the plasma protein just like the transferrin, okay, that will take all of the what? It is the storage form of the ferric. Okay, so that means iron we can say over here. Okay, in terms of the iron. So that will be there will be no chances for the formation of the free radical injury. So this was all about the free radical injuries. Okay, what are the procedures and what is the chances to formations of the free radicals and how can you prevent or what you will try to prevent by three ways. By by using the antioxidant molecules where you can use the vitamin. In terms of the antioxidant vitamin, you can use vitamin A, vitamin C, or vitamin E. In terms of the plasma protein over here, we can use the transferrin or ceruloplasmin. In terms of the iron, we can use the transferrin. In terms of the copper, we can use the ceruloplasmin. In terms of the enzymes, we can use certain types of the enzymes. The first enzyme we can use over here that convert the superoxide anion, that converts the superoxide anion into the what? Hydrogen peroxide by what? By superoxide dismutase. The enzyme that will be required over here, that is superoxide dismutase. After that, whenever we are getting the hydrogen peroxide, this hydrogen peroxide, okay, that can be converted into water molecule directly by using two types of the enzymes. One we can use over here the catalase that can convert the hydrogen peroxide into water molecules. The second we can use in terms of what? Glutathione peroxidase, where we will get the conversion of water molecules from H2O2 to water molecules. So this type of the enzymes and the procedures we can get over here. अगर वीडियो आपको लोग अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कीजिए ताकि बाकी लोगों को इसका सुविधा मिले. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.